Hello guys, this is Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com, and we are here today with lesson number 9 in our incredible new tutorial series where you are going to learn artificial intelligence on the Jetson Nano. What I'm going to need you to do is pour yourself a nice big mug of iced coffee. I'm going to need you to get out your Jetson Nano gear and get it booted and get ready to learn some cool new stuff. Hey, want to give a shout out to you guys that are helping me out over at Patreon. It's a huge encouragement for me when you guys decide to be a part of this channel in a tangible way. Gives me the motivation to continue to try to develop quality content. Those of you who aren't and would like to look into supporting me, look down in the description. There's a link to my Patreon account. Think about hooking a brother up and helping me out a little bit each month. But enough of this nonsense about talking about my Patreon account. Let's go in and let's get ready to learn some cool stuff. So you should have your Jetson Nano booted. I need you to open up a new terminal window, and I will move my terminal window where you can see it nice. I try to be really mindful where you guys can see what I'm typing. I think in last week's episode there was one command that a little bit of it was hidden behind my back because I wasn't out of the way enough, but hopefully you guys worked through the little difficulty there and were able to take that get that command from my Audible. Okay, but anyway, this looks pretty good. So what are we going to do today? What we are going to do is we are going to install 3 packages: Matplotlib, Pyplot, and Numpy. Okay, because we're getting into artificial intelligence, and what you got to see is artificial intelligence is all about data. It's about manipulating data, and it's about being able to very easily handle data. And that data is usually in the form of very large arrays or very large matrices. So let's take a simple thing, like maybe artificial intelligence, you want to figure something out from a picture. Well, what is a picture? A picture is a two-dimensional array. There's all these columns and there's all these rows, and at any particular row and column there's a pixel, and that pixel itself has 3 numbers, like a red strength, a green strength, and a blue strength. So a picture is a 2x2 array, which each position in that array has 3 numbers, red, green, and blue strength. So you see, that's a whole lot of data, just one picture. So we've got to be able to get comfortable dealing with arrays. Now the program NumPy, the library NumPy, sort of supercharges our Python, where we can deal with enormous arrays and we can do very sophisticated mathematical computations on arrays with single commands. So if you think about doing something like, if you were just using normal Python and wanted to add 2 arrays together, you would have to say for I in range from the start value to the stop value 1, and then the new array is the first array plus the second array, and you kind of have to build it up like that. Well, with NumPy, man, you can just work with arrays just like they were variables. It's very, very powerful. And then what Matplotlib allows you to do is it allows you to plot data. So when you have these huge arrays, if you just go in and try to print them, they just roll by your screen, huge numbers of numbers. You can't visualize, you can't see what your data is doing. So you got to get comfortable plotting data, because as we're going through this, there's going to be a lot of times that we're going to want to plot our data. So what we're going to do is we're going to install these programs, and then after installing them, I'm going to show you how to use them. So this will be sort of a first installation and then a quick view of how to use the programs. Okay, are we ready to go? Hopefully you guys have your gear set up and ready to go. And so we've got our terminal window open and we are ready to install Matplotlib. How do we do it? We are going to say sudo, and we are going to say apt get install. You should be comfortable with apt get install, right? We've used that before. What do we want to apt get install? Well, remember, we are running on Python 3. Okay, so we're going to tell it the Python 3 Matplotlib. Okay, do you see that? Sudo apt get install Python 3 Matplotlib. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, hit enter. And it looks like some magic is happening. That's really good. It's always good when it sort of starts rolling through there and doesn't say like not found or something like that. And so it is getting things ready to go here. Whoa, that was like really, really quick. Okay. Let me take a look at that. You know what? I installed it a little bit earlier, and then I installed it a little bit earlier, and then I uninstalled it. But it looks like probably it was already downloaded, and so mine probably went a lot quicker than yours did. Yours probably asked if you really wanted to install it. But I'm just going to kind of scroll up here and make sure that we're okay. Yeah, that's going to be okay. Now this is the good news. The good news is that that when you install Matplotlib, it's also going to install NumPy, and it's also going to install Pyplot. What Pyplot is it's the Python version of Matplotlib, and so that's the part of Matplotlib that we are going to be using. So let me just make sure that my installation worked, and so I'm going to fire up Python 3. You should do this too when yours completes installing. Okay, and now I'm going to say import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Okay, it installed. I mean, it installed because I didn't get an error when I imported it. Let me also say import numpy as np. Okay, let me look at my np version, so I can say np dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore. Okay, 1.13.3. So things look good. I'm going to Control D out of this. You now have Matplotlib, you have Pyplot, and you have NumPy. You are ready to rock and roll, and you are ready to start doing some data manipulation. Okay, so we want to go back to, right, we're not nanoing anymore. We are now using a proper integrated development environment, Visual Code Studio. We installed that in the last lesson, and remember we made a little icon up here, so you can come up and you can click on this icon, and then it should fire up Visual Code Studio. I'm also going to just close my terminal window because I don't need that anymore. Okay, I will get my Visual Code Studio here in a nice configuration where you can see it. Okay, I think that'll be good. All right, so we open up here, and do you remember that last time we created this desktop folder PyPro? So we are working inside of PyPro, and we had a few basic programs that we put in there last week. Those are still there. Well, I think what we need is we need a new folder called Matplotlib, okay? And so if I come up to PyPro, all right, and I come over to the second plus, do you see where it says new folder? I'm going to add a new folder, and I'm going to call it Matplotlib, like that, and then enter. All right, now I've got a, no, I do not want that. Let's see if I can get rid of that, delete. Okay, you know what I think the problem was? I must have been on BASIC when that happened. So you see, I don't want it to create in BASIC. So I select PyPro. I come over and I say new folder, and now it is under there. I created it inside of BASIC because I think BASIC was selected. So we're going to say Matplotlib, and hopefully this time it will be nice and clean. Okay, there it is. So you see I have a folder called Basic and a folder called Matplotlib. Now with Matplotlib selected, I'm going to come up, and this time I'm going to create a new file. Okay, and the new file that I want is a Python file, and I'm going to call it, how about matbasic 1.py. And remember, the py is kind of important. Notice that when I put the .py extension, it put the little icon recognizing it as a Python file, and otherwise it's just thinking that it's a text file. But when we put that .py, we're queuing Visual Code Studio in that we are going to be writing a Python program. And so now I should be able to click enter, and boom, I have got a new tab up here. And I'm going to get rid of this welcome tab because I don't like a lot of nonsense tabs open. So I have one program open. That program is matbasic1.py. And now we are ready to start coding. So let's write our first program that creates a graph. So what do we need to do if we're going to create a graph? We need to import the library. Import Matplotlib. You know what I love? Notice what's happening here as I'm typing. Okay, as I'm typing, Visual Code Studio is sort of guessing where I'm going to try to help me autofill. And when you kind of get in sync with it, it allows you to write code really quickly. So you see all these different things that it could be. Matplotlib. Look at that. All right. So I want to import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Now, what does that mean? I'm getting the library matplotlib.pyplot, but I'm importing it as PLT. That means anytime I want to use it, I just use the name PLT. I don't have to type out that whole thing. You could even make it like PT if you wanted, but usually PLT is what people do for this particular library. Okay, that looks really good. I'll click enter. So, ooh, what happened? I don't know what happened. Pyplot, import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Okay, there it goes. For some reason, I had something a little bit strange happen there a while ago. Okay, so I have Matplotlib, and so let's get some data. All right, I'm going to create an array, X, and that X variable is going to be an array. How do I make an array? With a bracket. And before we would just create it empty, but let's put some data in it. I'm going to put the data 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. Now, if I have X, I'm probably going to need a Y, so I'm going to say Y is equal to, and I'm going to say 3, 5, 7, 9. All right, 3, 5, 7, 9. So I have an X array and a Y array. And if you kind of think of X and Y, we would want to plot X and Y. So how would we plot X and Y? Well, I'm going to say PLT. That's my matplotlib.pyplot library, PLT. And then what do I want to do? I want to plot. And then what do I want to plot? Notice it's the open parentheses. I want to plot X versus Y, like that. Okay, so I'm going to plt.plot X and Y. X and Y are defined. And so now what do? I come over here and I right mouse click and I say run Python file in terminal. And what happened to me? It's like, no, oh, I plotted it, but I didn't what? plt.show. I plotted it, but I didn't show it. Okay, rookie mistake there. You set your plots up, and when they're all set up, you then show them. Okay, now let's run it. Run Python file in terminal. Boom! Do you see that? I just graphed a line. I just graphed a line. And so you can see it plotted Y versus X. But now, okay, it plotted it as a line, and that's good. But you notice how I can't really see my data points. I just see a line going through them. And so I'm going to kill this window. And really what I would really like, I think, I would like to plot X and Y. But what I would like it to do is I would like it to have characters. And so I'm going to say print the stars. Okay, print the stars, you know, is the data points. And so now I'm going to come back, right mouse click, run Python file in terminal. Okay, and look at that. What did I get? I got the points 1, 3, 2, 5, 3, 7, and 4, 9. I got those plotted. But the line went away. So when I told it to print the characters, the markers, it's no longer printing the line. So what if I want both? Well, what I could do if I wanted both, I could say, well, I could put the dash says that I want a line, and the star says I want the points plotted with stars. So each point is plotted with a star, and then a line will go through those points. And so now I should have a line and I should have stars. Okay, run Python file in terminal. Yes. Okay, look at that. Boom. You see what I have? I have the points and I have the line that's going through them. That is pretty cool. Now, what I do believe is I would really like it to be red. So I'm going to put an R there. All right. I'm going to put an R there. Okay, boom, look at that. They are red. So I have a red line and I have red dots. That is pretty neat. Okay, what if I wanted blue? Well, you could imagine that I could put a B. All right, I could put a B for blue, and then I could say run Python file in terminal. And then look at that, they are B, they are blue. What if I wanted green? I would put a G here. Okay. Run Python file in terminal. Look at that. It's green. Okay, so look at all the things that we can control about this line right now. It's sort of like you put, what you do is you kind of put three things. The first one is what color. And you've got red, green, blue, and there's probably, the obvious ones. I bet that we could do yellow. I bet that we could do orange. Maybe orange. I'm not sure about orange because orange it might think is a character, but let's just see what happens. I worry about the orange. Probably, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. It doesn't recognize O for orange. But let's see, maybe Y for yellow. Let's see if it'll do that. Okay, yeah, we got yellow. And so you can see that most of the obvious colors you'll be able to get. Okay, red, green, blue, yellow, and you can play around with that. So the first character within these quotes after you plot X and Y, and remember it's inside these single quotes. The first one is the color. The second one tells you what kind of line. Now I put a dash, and that's going to be a solid line, but I could put a dash dash. And what do you think that is going to do? That is going to make a dashed line. Okay. What if I put a dash and a dot? If I put a dash and a dot, that is going to make a line with a dash and a dot. Do you see that? That's pretty neat. What if I went, I don't think dot dot's going to work. I really don't. Okay, I'll show you. You would think maybe it would, but it's really not going to work. Yeah, I got an error down there. If you want a dotted line, you put a colon. Okay, the colon will make a dotted line. Okay, look at that. You see we got a dotted line. That's kind of hard to read, though. To me, that is kind of hard to read. So I would really like the line to be thicker. And so I'm going to say, what I'm going to say is I want line width to equal 3. All right, I'm going to say line width is equal to 3. And now let's go in and see what happens if I run it. Run Python file in terminal. Okay, do you see how I got a lot stronger line there? And I think I will indeed go back to a solid line so you can see that. And I'm going to go back to a blue line. And this is probably going to be pretty good for a graph, something like this. Let's take a look at it. Run Python file in terminal. Okay, you see that is a pretty nice strong blue line. I like that. What is the one thing that we don't like so much? The one thing that we don't like so much is now the blue line is a lot heavier than the points. You really don't see the points. And so what we can do is we can come in after line width and we can say comma marker size. Okay, comma marker size, and then say that's equal to, oh, let's say 6. Okay, marker size is equal to 6. Okay, so we are still in this plt.plot, but now we have out here at the end said marker size is equal to 7. So I'm going to run that, run Python file in terminal. Okay, look at that. That is, I can see the marker and I can see the line, and it all looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I love showing this, I don't want to show that anymore. So let me get it, because my lines are getting too long, and I think you would be better off seeing what I am typing. And so I think I can fix this really, really quickly. Kind of on the fly editing here. Okay, I think that fixed it. Now you're going to be able to see longer lines as I'm typing, so you can see that whole thing, and I think that's kind of good. Okay, so we're plotting the x array, or we're plotting the y array as a function of x. We've got blue solid line and a marker. Also, you could do other things here for the markers, like if I put a little o, I can get a different marker. Run Python file in terminal. Okay, and you see how that O gave me a dot. I could probably also like do the caret, the shift 6. And if I do that, ooh, no, I did the wrong one there. That was what, B? And then over here on O for the character, I could do the shift 6, which is the, man, I am just all over the place messed up, aren't I? Okay, let's see. Why does this not want to let me backspace? There it is. And then B. All right. So, and I also lost my little quote. All right. So I'm going to have a blue line that's solid, and this shift 6 should give me something like a triangle. Run Python file in terminal. Man, I messed that up too. All right. Got that? Okay, let's run. Run Python file in terminal. What is it not like here? PLT is not defined. What? It's right there. Import Matplotlib Pyplot as PLT. X is that, Y is that. That looks good. Let's do a run Python file in terminal. We have got a little bit messed up here. Import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Okay, I'm in PyPro. I'm in here. Run Python file in terminal. Okay, sorry for that, but we've got things working. Okay, see now I've got the triangle. Okay, I've got the triangle. And so that is really a pretty good line. So, do you see with this one command of plot plt.plot, we can really get a lot of control. We can plot y as a function of x. We can control how thick the line is, whether it's solid or whether it's dotted, what color it is, what the character it puts or not a character, how wide the line is, and what the marker size is. So you've learned a lot, and you can customize your plots using those things just the way you want, okay? But now there are some other things. So let me run this thing again, run Python file in terminal. Okay, and there is our plot. What would be one of the things? Well, one of the things I really like is, I'm an engineer, so I like a grid. So I wish that there was a background grid. And so what could I do here? I could say plt.grid, and then I could make that true. Okay, and then let's see what happens. Run Python file in terminal. And that should be uppercase T for true. And it turns blue. That's a good sign. Run Python file in terminal. Okay. Ooh, look at that. I think that background grid really dresses this up a lot, if you ask me. And then also notice you can resize the window if you want. Okay, you can resize the window. I think that dressed it up a lot to have the background grid, because now you can see clearly 2 is at 5. And you can see 3 is at 7, right? So I like putting a background grid on there. Okay, what is the one thing that you don't like about this now? Like if there was what is the one thing that you could do the most to dress this thing up? Okay, we don't have any labels on our axis and no titles. So let's see if we can do something about that. So we turned the grid on. How about if I said plt.xlabel? Okay, plt.xlabel, and then I put in a single quote what I want. I'll say my x values. Okay, and then we would also want what? We would also want plt.ylabel, and then I would say my y values. Okay, that looks pretty neat. And then if we were going to guess, we would guess it would be plt.title, and then we're going to put my first graph. Okay, now how does that look? Now let's run that thing and see what happens. Run Python file in terminal, and there it is. Boom! X-axis labels, y-axis labels, my first graph. Man, this is looking pretty powerful. And guys, look at this. We're doing this with just a couple of lines of code. Once you start doing this, you're never going to want to go and graph in Excel again. This, you just have such... And you can also imagine your sort of basic plotting program. You can save it. And then when you come in, you might just be changing your X and Y, right? You might just be changing your X and Y. Okay, what are other things that you might want? Let's take a look at this again. What are other things that you might want? I've got a title, an X-axis label, a Y-axis label, control of my graph. What else might you want? You might want to control, this is auto-scaling the X and Y axis. You might not want to auto-scale it. You might want to give it values. And the way you do that is with the plt.axis, that's plt.axis. All right. And now you're going to open your parentheses to send it the parameter, and then you've got to send it an array, and the array is with an open bracket. And now I'm going to need xmin, xmax, ymin, ymax. Well, I think I want to on x go from 0 comma to my x values go to 4, so I'm going to plot it out to 5 just so I'm not crowding the edge of the graph. And similarly on y, I think I'll go 0 to 10, so I'm going to say comma 0 comma 10. So you see how that works? Now that is going to show hopefully the scale that I want. So run Python file in terminal, and look at that. I go from 0 to 5, and I go from 0 to 10. And so I've kind of now got control of the scale of the axis. And I really like that. I like that a lot. Okay, let's see. Now, let's imagine that I wanted more than just one line on there. Let's imagine I had another line. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the same x-axis, but I'm going to have a different set of z. I'm going to have a different value along y. And so I'll call that z. I'm going to say z is going to be equal to, let's say that I have 10, and then let's say that I have 8, and then let's say that I have 6, and let's say that I have 4. So I've created a new set of data, a new set of kind of like Y-like data, vertical data to go along with this X array. So how would I get that? Well, what I could do is I could come over here and I could do another plt.plot. So I could say plt.plot. And what do I want to plot? Well, I want to plot X, but instead of Y this time, I want Z, all right? And let me see if I can get that out of your way there, XZ. And now what do I want it to look like? Well, let's make this one red, and then let's make this one dotted. Okay, so that would be red, dotted, and let's go with the closed circles like that. And then I think I'm just going to make it the same parameters here, so that it'll kind of match. So I'm just going to copy those, and then I will come down here and I will comma and I will paste. Okay, and now we will right mouse click and we will run Python file in terminal, And look at that. Okay, look at that. I've got a second line. Boom. Now notice that this second line goes up to 10. And so I think that I'm going to change my scale to 11. And I think I'll go 2 to 11. Let's see how that looks. And so I'm going to come back here and I will go to 11. Not 111. I will go 11 and I will start the Y value at 2. So let's see how that looks. That looks mighty fine. Okay, that looks mighty fine. So I've got 2 lines that I'm plotting on one graph. I've got a nice grid and I've got labels and I'm controlling the size of things. I think that that is really cool. But let's say that you really want to kind of keep track of what is what. So you want to be able to label those individual lines so you know which is which. So what I could do is I could come up here and when I plot this thing, okay, when I plot this thing, I could put a label on it. So I could say comma, and I could say label. All right, I'm going to say comma label is equal to quote red line. Was the first one? No, the first one's the blue line. Okay, I could label it. I'll just label it blue line. Okay, and then I'll come down here and on this one I'll say comma label equal open quote, and this will be red. I should format it the same. Red line. Okay, so now I've put a label on them, and that's pretty nice. Okay, but if I want them to show up, what I have to do is I have to say plt.legend. I've labeled the lines, but to show the label, I've got to do plt.legend. Okay, and then what do I want to do with the legend? I'll just do it like that without any parameters, and let's see how that looks. Okay, run Python file in terminal, and look at that. Okay, I've got my red line and I've got it labeled red line, and I've got my blue line and I've got it labeled blue. Really, you know, you would do something more like one is temperature and the other is pressure or something like that, but you can get that on there. Okay, what do I not like? I don't like it in the upper right. I want to change the position of the box. And so what I could do here is on my legend, I could give it a parameter. And I think I want the location, LOC, to be equal to lower space center. Okay, lower space center. And now let's see what happens. Right mouse click, run Python file in terminal. And look at that, lower center. Now you could imagine it's probably upper left, upper middle, upper right would be my guess, or like upper left, upper center, and upper right, or lower left, lower center, or lower right. Okay, I wonder if you could do a center. I bet you could. It won't work very well for this one, but let's see if there's a center along that other axis or not. I really shouldn't try this stuff live because I'm probably going to break things when I do this. And I think probably I confused it. So maybe that one. Okay, this was upper, lower, right? This was upper, lower. Let's see if maybe it knows middle on this one. We'll see. I'm just playing around with it. You guys can play around with it. I like to kind of do things trial and error sometimes better than trying to do it. No, it doesn't like that. So let's go back to upper center. Okay. Now this one should really work. What is happening to me? Let's go back to the one that we know works. Upper left. Okay. Run Python file in terminal. And man, and this thing isn't wanting to run. What did I do wrong? Let me make sure it's not hiding back there. Okay. PLT show is still there. Let me just take this back out to try to figure out what is happening, because that is sort of where we started getting. And then I'm going to come down here and Control D, make sure that I am out of this thing. Okay, run Python file in terminal. Ladies and gentlemen, this should be working. And it seems like, okay, I'm just going to close out of this. And I'm going to close out of this and restart it. It seems like somehow the Python interpreter has kind of gotten locked up. And so I'm going to close it and open it again. And the code should still be there. Okay, and I'll come up here. And let's see, it looks like you'll be able to see all that. I'll come back to my Explorer view here. And then this was my Mat Basic. Okay, and we're back to there. And now I will run Python file in terminal. And there it is. Okay. Sometimes you just got to restart it if the thing hangs up like that. But now we're back good. And then I believe what we were doing is we were trying to say LOC is equal to, and then we were going to say upper, and we were going to say center. Let's see if it knows center. If it doesn't, we'll try middle. Run Python file in terminal. Okay, and it's upper center. Okay, now let's try center to see if that works. I'm probably going to break it again. One of these things probably broke it last time. Run Python file in terminal. And it doesn't know the center. It doesn't know that. I'm just going to try one more thing. I'll see if it knows middle. MIDDLE. Run Python file in terminal. And it doesn't know middle. So I think that you have a choice of left or right, and then you have a choice of you have left, center, or right, and then you have upper or lower. So I can do lower, center, so I can go upper, lower, or I could go left, center, or right. Okay, so those are the ones we can do. So let me right mouse click and let me say run Python in terminal, and there we go. There we go. So it's lower, center. It's all nice like that. So you see, man, this is just a few commands. Like how many we got? A total of 13 lines of code, and we are doing some pretty impressive things. Okay, so you can imagine now what you could do is you could plot as many lines as you wanted, and you could put as many data points in them as you wanted, and so you could just plot sort of X versus Y by entering a lot of data. But you really don't want to enter a lot of data, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this stuff here because it's useful, but I'm just going to get rid of this X, Y, and Z business because I've got to have a better way of getting more data. I've got to get a better way of getting more data than just importing, than just typing it in. So I want to start generating the data, and I'll generate the data by creating the arrays using NumPy. So I'm going to say import NumPy as NP because I don't want to have to type NumPy every time I want to use NumPy. I just want to type in NP. Okay. Now what I am going, what is that nonsense? NP. Why don't you import NumPy as NP? And I do not want you to turn it into NumPy. Okay, there it goes. Right, import NumPy as NP. Now watch this. I can say that X is equal to NP dot range, and let's say that I'm going to go from -4 to 4 in steps of 0.1, and NumPy, it's not range, it is actually a range. Okay, so I'm going to go from -4 to 4, and I'm going to go in steps of 0.1. And then I'm going to say y is equal to, let's make it np dot square. So I'm going to do np dot square. I'm going to square what? I'm going to square x. And so what is this saying? Y is equal to x squared. How do you square x? Well, you say np dot square. I don't think I'm going to do that. That would work, but you know what we could just do to make it easier? We could say x times x. So y is equal to x squared, like that, and that should work. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print x. I'm going to plot x and y, and then I'm going to get rid of this second one because I don't need it. And now I am also going to comment out this axis statement right now because I'll let it auto scale because I'm not exactly sure what it would be. So I'm going to comment that out. So this should be, I have my x values, my y values. I turn off my scale, and then, okay, let's right mouse click. Okay, and let's run Python file in terminal. Look at that. Boom. I just plotted a quadratic. Well, I don't like that this blue line is over my graph, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to adjust that. So let's make that upper center. Okay. Upper center. And now let's run it. Okay. Run Python file in terminal. Okay, what's going on? Let me try it again. Run Python file in terminal. Perhaps, oh, there it is. It was hiding back there. Okay. All right. So I need to kill this and then run it. I think maybe one of the things is, yeah, there it is. If you try to run it without killing the graph, I think maybe that's what was goofing me up before. Look at that. Boom, a quadratic. Is that not beautiful? Is that not a thing of beauty? Look at that, a quadratic. Okay, so you see how quick that was using NumPy? I think what I am going to do is, what if we wanted to make another one, y2, and have it be x times x plus 2. Okay, now I've got a y2. Now I can come down here and I'm going to plot y2. And what I'm going to do is I am going to copy this. I probably shouldn't have erased the last one. I should have probably just commented it out, but we'll make this one red, and we'll leave the little triangles like that, and we'll leave everything else the same, but now this is going to be a red line. Okay, so if I take x squared, and if I add 2 to it, instead of y equal x squared, I have y is equal to x squared plus 2. I also need to make this y2 as well. So I'm going to plot this one y, plot this one y2. Okay, if I take y2 is equal to x squared plus 2, what is that going to do? Did I not kill that other graph? I probably didn't kill the other graph. That is what is messing us up. You got to kill the graph before you try to rerun the program. Boom! Look at that. What does it do? It moves your parent function y equal x squared up by 2. Okay. Well, what if I did a... and I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna say y3 is equal to x times x minus 2. What's that going to do? It's going to move it down by 2. Okay, and so we are going to come over here, and now that was y3, so we're going to get a y3. We're going to do another plot. We're going to do a copy, and then we are going to do another plot, Control V, and this one is going to be what? Y3. And this one is going to be, I did blue, I did red, I think I will do green this time. And then this will be the green line. And now I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to say run Python file in terminal. And look at that. Boom. When I subtract 2, it moves the curve down 2. When I add 2, it moves it up 2. And I've got this nice thing. Do you see how now with NumPy and Matplotlib, we're able to like, okay, what's the effect of adding a constant to a quadratic? It's moving it up and down. Let's do another real quick one here. Okay, so instead of saying that y is x times x, let's go in and actually see if we could do it the other way. Let's say it's np dot square, okay, np dot square x, okay, and then this one is going to be np dot square x, and then plus 2, and then this is going to be y3 is equal to np dot square x, and then square x, and then minus 2. What did I do? I think I hit an enter in there. Minus 2. Okay. I am really confused. So I have y is np square of x, y2 is np square plus 2, y3 is np square minus 2. All right. So now let's run this, and it should be the same as we got a while ago, but it's just a different way of doing it. Okay, look at that. Look at that. The green is minus 2, the blue is just the normal, and the red is plus 2. Boom. You see, we can look at the effect of quadratics. Now, if I just add and subtract, it moves the curve up and down. Okay, what happens if I add or subtract to x? Okay, like what if I say x minus 2, and if I say x minus 4? What is that going to do to the curve? Is it going to tell me up, down, left, or right? Okay, is it going to go up, down, left, or right? Okay. Now the crazy thing is, you guys might have said because it's minus, you might have said it's going to move it to the left. But when you add or subtract to the number that goes with x, it goes in the opposite direction. So you see this blue curve is what we started with. And then when we subtracted 2 from x, it moved the curve to the right 2. And then when we subtracted 4, it moved the curve to the right 4. So when you alter what you're doing with x, it moves in the opposite direction. When you alter outside, it moves in the same direction, just up and down, same direction. With x, it's left and right, opposite direction. So that's kind of neat stuff, right? And so how do we do that? How did we do that? Well, we did the x is equal to np.arrange from minus 4 to 4, and then steps of 0.1. And so let's take another look at that. Run Python file in terminal. Okay, I am, okay, that looks pretty good. Now, the thing with me, though, is, and I'm going to go back and do it the other way, kind of have it going the up and down one. Okay, I'm going to have it going the up and down one. So I'll have the square x, and add 2, and then square x and add 4. All right, so let's see what happens there. It should be like we had it a while ago. Okay, that's really good. So we kind of moved it up by 2 and we moved it down by 2, and that is that's looking really good. But you know, the thing is, guys, I don't like to say the start and stop and the increment, because also remember that it's not stopping at 4, it's stopping at 3.9. And so the way I like to build an array is not with a range, but np dot linspace, and we might have done this earlier, but with linspace you say where you want to start. I want to start at minus 4. Where you want to end, I want to end at 4, and then how many points you want. I want 25 points. The last point this time is going to be dead on 4. The first point is going to be dead on minus 4. So I like to get those endpoints, and then I like to say how many data points I want. Okay, so let's run this. Boom. Look at that. All the way precisely to 4, all the way from minus 4, and exactly 25 points or whatever I said. Did I say 20 or 25? Exactly 25 points. Okay, so that is really pretty cool. Let's play around with this a little bit more. Okay, so I need to look something up really quick here. Give me just 1 second. NumPy, pi is give me 1 second, please. Please give me 1 second. Okay, I think I can do it. I actually think that I can do it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to start from 0, and we are going to do go out to 2 times pi. How do I get pi? It's np.pi. Okay, np.pi. And this time, I think I want like 100 points. All right. And now I'm going to get rid of this nonsense. And I'm going to say y is equal to np.sine of what? np.sine of x. Now, I think I'll get rid of these other things. I just want to see if I can plot a sine wave. All right, and then I am going to comment out these. We'll come back later and probably want to use these, so I'm just going to comment this out, and then I am going to come down here, and I will, let's see, I didn't have my cursor where I wanted. Okay, so I am going to come down and get this out of the way. All right, I am going to get rid of that blank line, and then I'm just going to do one plot. So I will comment that out, and I will comment that out, and now I will run it, and with a little luck, I should get a sine wave. Okay, run Python file in terminal. Boom! Look at that, a sine wave, okay? A sine wave. Now, I think that's a few too many points. The points are running together, so I think I'll make it 50 here. And then I'm going to run Python in terminal. And look at that, a beautiful sine wave. If I can do a sine wave, I could do a what? y2 is equal to np dot what? Cosine of x, np dot cosine of x. And now I will turn on that second plot. Okay, this time I should get a sine and a cosine. I am going to run Python in terminal. Look at that. Yes, a sine wave and a cosine wave. Do you see how once you get comfortable with NumPy and Matplotlib, how quickly you can do these things? Now let's correct that. That blue is the sine, and so I need to make that blue. This blue on my legend should be, I believe that was the sine. Okay, and I'll say, well, let's call it sine of x. And then let's call this cosine of x. All right, can you see that? I'm a little bit in your way, but I think you can see that. Okay, let's run that. Run Python file in terminal. Look at that. The blue is sine of x. The red is cosine of x, and we went from 0 to 2 pi, and we could probably make this like my radians and this my trig functions or something up there. We could do better titles, but man, this is really, really good. Now, if I subtract something from it, what's it going to do? Think about that. All right, now what I want you to do is like look at this. What if I come up and I say y2 is equal to cosine of x. What if I say cosine of x minus np dot pi, so that's cosine of x minus pi divided by 2. What is going to happen? This is going to move the curve. Tell me, comment down below, pause, tell me, comment below what it's going to do. Can you figure it out? Okay, run Python file. Did I not kill that last one? I might not have killed it last time. I don't think I killed it last time. Okay, there it is. What happened? Okay, the sine curve is still there, but what happened? When I subtracted NP over 2, it took the cosine curve and it moved it the opposite direction to the right by pi over 2, and it's sitting on top of the sine curve. Now, how do you know that's the case? How would we prove that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on the cosine curve, I am going to turn off the line, okay? And on the sine curve, I am going to turn off the line. So now I should see the characters for the sine curve, and I should see the line for the cosine curve. That did not quite work. That did not quite work. Okay, maybe... Okay, I've got blue. Ah, wait a minute. Wait. Okay, I turned off the color. That, hopefully you guys were yelling at me. So I'm going to turn off the line on the top one, and I'm going to turn off the character on the bottom one. So let's see what happens now. Yeah, okay. So what you can see now is you can see that the sine curve is where it always is. It's the little characters. And then the cosine curve has moved from here over to here. And it now sits on top of the sine curve. So you see the sine and the cosine curve are really the same. They're just shifted from each other by pi over 2. So I just love playing with this. I think you can get a lot of intuition when it comes to, mathematics by just doing some of this plotting. Let me see if there's anything else that we need to do here. We have learned quite a bit, okay? And what I like to do is I like to just save a program like this. I'm going to hang on to this because it's hard for me to remember now, like, what is the command to change the labels? And if I have one like this to go on, really it's probably just pretty much coming up and playing with things like this and then tweaking things down here, and we can do the graphing really I think quite nicely. Okay guys, were you able to keep up with this? What are your thoughts on using NumPy and Matplotlib? Man, I love using this. When I'm doing math, I sit and I do it this way because it's a whole lot easier than trying to do it in Excel. Okay, this has been a pretty darn good lesson. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Little bit about where we are going now. I am thinking that for now we know enough about Matplotlib and NumPy, and so I'm not going to be doing another Matplotlib and NumPy lesson. As we go along, we'll learn some new things as we need them, but you kind of got the basics here. Next week, what I do believe we are going to do is we are going to install OpenCV, and then we're going to start working with the camera. Okay, and so next week is when we really start getting into the artificial intelligence. Okay, we're going to fire up the camera in OpenCV, and then in future lessons we will start doing some pretty cool manipulation. Okay guys, I am really having fun with this. Really appreciate your encouragement. Guys, give me a thumbs up, give me a little encouragement if you're enjoying this. And again, really want to thank you guys that are helping me out on Patreon. It really makes me, it motivates me to continue to try to do a better job. It motivates me to continue to try to work at this pace that I'm working at. I've been releasing 3 videos a week for some time now, and that's a lot of work. And you guys can hook me up with a cup of coffee, you know, every once in a while. Okay, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you thought about this lesson. Think about sharing this with other people. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to this channel. All right, this is Paul McWhorter from TopTechBoy.com. I will talk to you guys later.